This is Samir Mahmood, coming in at a whopping 47 overall. He is the lowest rated player on eafc 25, although not for long. Today we turn Samir Mahmood into the best player in the world. And of course, here he is, kickstarting season 1, coming in at a 47 overall striker at 22 years of age, and his stats are just diabolical. All of them are sat in red or orange, and he's also coming in with 2-star skill moves and 1-star weak foot. So it's definitely safe to say Mahmood does need some training, especially considering he can't even kick a ball. And kickstarting off the season with Mahmood, and I tell you, it was not very good at all. We started off with a nice little whip in here from Mahmood, but it went to absolutely nobody. He did have a nice little corner here where he whipped it in, but unfortunately it did come off the crossbar. And later on in the game, Mahmood did actually manage to get past his defenders, getting through on goal, although the goalkeeper did manage to save it through a pretty dreadful shot, as the game did finish 0-0. And Mahmood walked away with a 7.5 rating, which isn't too bad to be fair. We have unlocked a play style for Mahmood, and we are going to go for the low driven, as it is probably the best one in the game at the minute for a striker. 4 games into the season, and Mahmood and his team are not doing the best, as they are sat in 9th place. Mahmood though is now up to a 49 overall, obviously a +2 on his beginning overall of 47, and he is getting involved a little bit, to be fair to him. 3 goals in 7 appearances, and he did secure his place into the starting 11, as he did debut up against FC Goa. And we did start off actually by saving a penalty which came through clutch, as nothing seemed to happen in the game. We did get a little chance, although it was a dreadful touch straight into the defender, and yet again just trying to dribble, but just defended way too easy. Later on in the game though, he did manage to absolutely skin his man, although again it was a weak shot, as the game did end at just a boring 0-0. And Samir Mahmood did finish on just a 6.7 rating out of 10. Halfway through the season, and we are currently sat in 8th place, and Mahmood is walking away now at 51 overall at 23 years of age. Still has some drastic improvement to do, although walking away from 13 games with 5 goals isn't that bad for him, to be honest. And we do actually unlock a new play style again for Mahmood, and we're actually going to go for first touch, because his touching at the game was dreadful. Finishing the season now, and we have actually finished in 10th place. We did qualify for the Asia Continental Cup, although we didn't even manage to win a single game. Although Mahmood is now up to a 55 overall, he's getting a little bit more respectable, and walking away with 12 goals and 2 assists in 33 games is not too bad at all. We have got an offer here from AAB, who I believe are in Denmark, although at the minute I do not think it is a good fit for Mahmood, so we are just going to stay at our current club. So of course season 2 kicks off, and we are staying with our current club. Halfway through the season, and we are doing worse than last season, as we are sat in 13th position, although Mahmood just keeps growing, as he is now up to a 59 overall at 24 years of age, and walking away currently 19 games played, 4 goals and 1 assist. Finishing the season now, and we have actually finished the league in 13th place, and Mahmood is now up to a 62 overall, and walking away from this season with 9 goals and 2 assists in 27 games. Not as good as last season, but still not too bad. And we have actually got a chance here to move to England. Of course it's not the best, we're moving to League 2, but we've got an offer from Salford. So of course season 3 starts off with Samir Mahmood moving to Salford, and we did start the season off here playing against Leyton Orient, and it was not the best first impression here for Mahmood. He did manage to get through here, although a weak shot was saved by the keeper, and they did manage to break through later on in the game, getting through on goal and slotting it home to make it 2-1, where we did of course lose the game at 2-1, and Mahmood walked away with just a 6 match rating. 4 games into the season, our Salford are currently sat in 11th place, and Mahmood is now up to a 63 overall, almost turning into a silver card on Ultimate Team, although it has not been a very good start for Samir Mahmood, as he is just walking away with 1 assist in 9 games. Although it's looking like Salford is not giving up hope, as they are putting him into the starting 11, and he's seemingly proving doubters wrong, as he's managed to score a brace in his game. That's another play style unlocked for Mahmood, and we are going to whack on finesse shot for him, and Mahmood just keeps impressing, as he has walked away with a Player of the Month award. Halfway through the season now, and Salford are actually currently sat in 2nd place. We are still in the FA Cup, where we face Luton Town. Unfortunately though, we did get knocked out of the Carabao Cup, losing to Wolves on penalties, and Mahmood is getting up to that at a next level, as he is now up to a 67 overall at 25 years of age. And things have definitely took a turn, as Mermu is now walking away with 17 goals and 8 assists in 35 games for Salford. Also sitting as the top assister in League 2 and sitting at the top of the goal scoring record, as he is sat on 14 goals. And finishing the season, and Salford have managed to finish in 5th place. Unfortunately, we did get knocked out of the FA Cup as we got smacked up by Luton 5-1. End of the season though, and Mermu is now up to a 71 overall. Pretty impressive growth so far, and it's been a very good season for Samir Mamu, as he is walking away with 26 goals and 14 assists in 60 games in his first season in England. Also getting the award for the top assister, and of course also the golden boot this season. And of course that should only mean there is one player of the season. Surely it's only got one name written on it, and of course there we go, it is Samir Mamu walking away with that award. And we are going to keep progressing our way up the English ladder, as we have been offered a contract from Middlesbrough. So of course season 4 starts off with Samir Mamu moving to Middlesbrough. In the first game with Middlesbrough, we do come up against Huddersfield, and this time it was a much better debut. Samir Mamu managing to break through, skinning the defender before putting it into the back of the net, making it 1-0 for Middlesbrough. And later on in the game, Samir Mamu would find himself through yet again, 1-on-1 with the keeper, and just slots it in bottom corner, making it 2-0 in the 88th minute, managing to win the game at 2-0, as Mamu walks away with a 9.9 match rating. 4 games into the season now, and Middlesbrough are currently sat in 12th place, and Mamu is now up to a 72 overall. Also walking away with 5 goals and 1 assist in just 9 games for Middlesbrough. And that does mean we do get another play style for Mamu, and we are going to go for power shot this time. Halfway through the season, and Middlesbrough are currently sat in 6th place. We are still in the FA Cup, where we come up against West Ham, and we did unfortunately get knocked out of the Carabao Cup, losing 2-1 to Plymouth. And Mamu is now up to a 74 overall, 26 years of age. He is progressively looking better and better. Of course, those skill moves and weak foot still not the best. Also walking away with 13 goals and 4 assists in 30 appearances for Mamu. Finishing the season now, and Middlesbrough have finished in 12th place, dropping down drastically from 6th position. We did also get knocked out of the FA Cup, losing on penalties to West Ham. Mamu though is now classified as a gold in Ultimate Team, as he is now up to a 76 overall, and also walking away with 21 goals and 5 assists in 52 games for Middlesbrough this season. He has impressed, although I believe starting off season number 5 we should be staying at Middlesbrough. And we have actually unlocked another playstyle for Mamu. This time we are going to go for chip shot. Halfway through the season, and so far it has not been a good season for Middlesbrough, as they are currently sat in 16th place. We did get knocked out of the Carabao Cup, losing 3-2 to Hull City, although we are still in the FA Cup, where we face Mansfield. And Samir Mamu is now up to a ridiculous, for him anyway, 79 overall. Also walking away with 14 goals and 2 assists in 32 appearances so far for Middlesbrough this season. Finishing the season, and it has not been a bad second half of the season actually for Middlesbrough, as they did finish in 7th place. Unfortunately though, we did get knocked out in the round of 16 at the FA Cup, getting obliterated by Liverpool 6-2. Samir Mamu though is now up to an 81 overall, and his stats are actually starting to look pretty good, coming in with 87 shooting and also 86 dribbling. Also walking away in the Championship with 26 goals and 7 assists in 55 games is pretty good going for anyone, let alone Samir Mamu. And that has caught the eyes of the Premier League, and that is in West Ham. So of course season 6 starts off with Samir Mamu getting a big move to Premier League's West Ham, and we could be starting off life in the Premier League extremely well, as we have the Community Shield up against Chelsea. And it was not the best start, as Chelsea did manage to get through. Noni Madueke managed to slot it into the bottom corner, making it 1-0 for Chelsea, although Mamu was not having any of that, as he did manage to get through, slotted it into the back of the net, equalising the game at 1-1. Although he was not finished there, as Samir Mamu was slotted through yet again, getting through one-on-one with the keeper and smashing it into the back of the net, making it 2-1 to West Ham, as we did actually win the game at 2-1, and we pick up Samir Mahmoud's first trophy of the video. 6 games into the season and West Ham are currently sat in 5th place in the Premier League, and Samir Mahmoud is now up to an 82 overall, and it has been a pretty good start to life in the Premier League as he is walking away with 6 goals in 13 games. We are into the round of 16 of the Carabao Cup where we go up against Newcastle. Unfortunately though, we did lose on penalties 5-3. Halfway through the season and West Ham have dropped down a little bit as they are sat in 8th place, although we are still in the FA Cup as we come up against Stockport, and the Europa League is also not going the best as we are sat in 20th place. Samir Mahmoud though is now up to an 83 overall at 28 years of age, coming in with 91 shooting and 88 dribbling. He's doing pretty good to be fair, although the rest of his stats are lacking a bit. Although in his first season in the Premier League, he is doing pretty good so far. 14 goals and 2 assists in 32 games for Mahmoud. Into the round of 16 at the FA Cup as we go up against Ipswich, and unfortunately we do get knocked out again, although Samir Mahmoud tried his best. And we have unlocked another play style here, and we are actually going to go for acrobatic this time. Into the round of 16 of the Europa League as we come up against PSG, and we do actually win the game 3-2 thanks to a brace from Samir Mahmoud, and we do actually manage to go through, beating them 6-4 on aggregate, with Samir Mahmoud scoring yet again another brace. Into the quarter-final of the Europa League as we come up against Athletic Bilbao, and we do manage to win the first game 3-2, and we do just draw the second game, although it was enough to go through 5-4 on aggregate. Into the semi-final now as we come up against Sevilla, and we do draw the first game 1-1. Unfortunately though, we do get knocked out as we lost the second game 2-1, although Samir Mahmoud did score yet again. Finishing the season, and West Ham have managed to finish in 5th position, of course qualifying for European football yet again, and Samir Mahmoud is now up to an 84 overall at 28 years of age. And what an unbelievable season it has been for Samir Mahmoud. 64 appearances, 35 goals and 5 assists is just unbelievable, and that has caught the eyes of European giants Bayern Munich. So of course season 7 starts off with Samir Mahmoud getting a huge move to Bayern Munich, and we could be starting off strong yet again as we do have the Super Cup up against Stuttgart, and again we did not start off very strong as they did get a penalty which they did manage to put into the back of the net, making it 1-0 in the 41st minute, although later on we did get a penalty ourselves, and it was of course Mahmoud stepping up to it, where of course he did solid at home, equalising the game at 1-1, before later on Elise would make a nice little run through the centre. Jamal Musiala saw it through, and he did put it into the back of the net, making the game 2-1, where of course we did win the game at 2-1 and picking up yet another trophy for Samir Mahmoud. Into the round of 16 the DFB Pokal, and we do win the game 3-1 thanks to Samir Mahmoud. Halfway through the season now, and Bayern Munich are of course leading the way by 4 points though over Leipzig. We are of course into the quarterfinals of the DFB Pokal where we face Bochum, and we are currently sat 5th place in the Champions League. And Samir Mahmoud now coming in an 85 overall at 29 years of age, 93 shooting and 89 dribbling is definitely something to shout about. Also grabbing 13 goals and 3 assists in 27 games, also managing to bench an Asian Harry Kane has been pretty impressive so far for Samir Mahmoud. Moving on though, and of course now we are into the quarterfinals of the DFB Pokal, and we do manage to beat them 4-2. Into the semi-finals now where we face Bayer Leverkusen, and we do manage to get into the final as yet again thanks to Samir Mahmoud scores an equaliser to make it 2-1. Moving into the Champions League now, we are into the round of 16 up against Nice, and we do actually lose the first game 2-1, although thankfully the second leg we do manage to go through, beating them 4-3 on aggregate. Into the quarterfinals now, and we have a very tough game up against Barcelona. The first game is just a 0-0 draw, although in the second leg we do manage to beat them thanks to a goal yet again from Samir Mahmoud, 2-1. Into the semi-finals, and we do come up against RB Leipzig, and the first game is just a 1-1 draw, although thankfully in the second leg we did manage to get through, beating them 3-1 on aggregate. First up though, we do have the final of the DFB Pokal where we face Augsburg, and it was a very good game for Samir Mahmoud, managed to get through, skin the defender before smashing it into the back of the net, making it 1-0, and later on Samir Mahmoud would find himself up against defender yet again before getting the better hand, smashing it into the back of the net, making it 2-0 for Bayern Munich. of course managing to win the game at 2-0 and getting yet another trophy for Samir Mermou. Moving on though, and we have the biggest game of our career, and of course it is the final of the Champions League up against PSG. And here we go, the biggest game of Samir Mermou's career, coming from the depths of the Indian Super League into the Champions League final. PSG could be on the attack here. That is an awful shot, thankfully. Nice. Musiala through to Samir Mermou. Mermou is through here. One-on-one with the keeper. Goes for goal. Oh, he's just missed. No way. Nice. Musiala skinned his man. He's slotted through Samir Mermou. He's done his defender. Samir Mermou goes for goal. And he manages to score in just a 22nd minute, making it 1-0 for Bayern Munich. PSG could be on the attack here. Slotted through to Jankovic. That's a great ball. Back to Frimpong. He's got loads of space. He's messed it up completely though. Nice. Rogers up this wing. Passing back to Barco. He's got a runner inside and it is Mermou. Oh, he just can't do anything. Kvitskhelia could be through here. He's still on the ball. Slotted through to Julian Alvarez. What an awful shot. Barco up this wing. Samir Mermou is making an unbelievable run, and he has been fouled by Barco. Slotted through, one-on-one with the keeper, and of course, he puts it into the bottom corner, making it 2-0 for Bayern Munich. Nice. Oh, Mermou is just rinsing this PSG team. Pass inside. Jamal Musiala could not make it easier. It is 3-0 for Bayern Munich. What an assist from Mermou. PSG could be on the attack. Julian Alvarez is slotted through. Julian Alvarez goes for goal. And he gets potentially a consolation goal here, 3-1. Oh, Samir Mermou is slotted through way too easy. In the 76th minute, Samir Mermou is through. And of course, there's no doubt about it, Samir Mermou picks up an assist and a hat-trick in the Champions League final. Surely that is game over. And there we go, the final whistle has been blown. And Bayern Munich and Samir Mermou have won the Champions League. And what a performance it has been from Mermou. As of course, we do lift another trophy, and it is the biggest one by far in the Champions League. Moving on, and we have also managed to walk away picking up the Bundesliga trophy, of course grabbing another trophy, also winning the Super Cup right at the start of the season, beating Stuttgart 2-1, winning the DFB Pokal, beating Augsburg 2-0, and of course grabbing the quadruple as we beat PSG 4-1 in the Champions League final. And Samir Mermou has hit a bit of a roadblock as he is now up to an 86 overall, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it's gonna be quite hard to get him higher than this, as he has got 99 in a lot of his attributes. Of course, 2-star skill moves is awful and 1-star weak foot is even worse, but hey, don't be dissing Samir Mermou. Also walking away from this season with 28 goals and 6 assists in 58 games, and what a long way Samir Mermou has come from being in the depth of the Indian Super League to managing to win the Champions League with Bayern Munich and being a very important part of that season. I would say Samir Mermou's career has had a well and truly huge turnaround.